Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out True Off My Chest. Story 1. I have never called my mom and dad mom or dad ever. Like most kids, I used to call them mommy and daddy until one day I realized I was too old for that. But I felt it would be weird to call them mom and dad, so I didn't. If my mom or dad was in the kitchen, I'd be like, "Hey, what's for dinner?" I'm now 25 and I still have never had a name for them. I just talk to them like we are already having a convo. I feel like the only person on the planet that's done this. Am I alone? LOL. Story 2. I saw the aftermath of a fatal motorcycle accident. It was at once much worse than I was prepared for, and also something I think anyone who wants a motorcycle license should see. Content warning: I saw pretty much everything after a fatal motorcycle accident and talk about it in detail. Several days ago I was delayed in heavy traffic on my drive to work. There has been some construction in the area, so at first I wasn't sure if there had been an accident or if there were some lanes closed for the work crews. However, eventually it became clear that the police had closed the entire highway and were diverting everyone onto the service road, which usually means there was either an accident so bad that the entire road is obstructed, or a fatality. Unfortunately, it was the latter. The accident itself was shortly after an overpass or truck or something, I don't remember, that partially obstructed the view from a distance, so I did not really know what to expect until I passed the obstruction and was essentially at the scene of the crash. This is an urban highway and the service road is only separated from the highway by a low concrete wall that is easy to see over, so when we eventually passed the accident I had a pretty unobstructed view. I know you shouldn't look at moments like this because you might get an eyeful that you wish you hadn't, and it can be dangerous, but I, like most people I think, can't help but glance over when I pass a crash slowly. We were moving about 2 miles per hour. I guess I wasn't expecting to see much because the police usually have everything covered up pretty quickly after getting to the scene, but for whatever reason they only had some parts of the scene covered when I passed. It was so bad. The body was essentially shredded. I saw it and immediately knew what I was looking at, but could not recognize any specific body parts. Just enough fabric and blood that it clicked in my brain that it was the body. I guess I knew logically that the forces involved can essentially destroy a human being, but it was another thing entirely to see it. At the time I literally did not know if it was one person or two because there was something else covered under a blanket nearby and I wasn't sure if it was part of the person that was visible or a second person. I looked it up later in the day because I could not stop thinking about it. It was one person, evidently literally ripped in half. I was also confused because I could not see any vehicles other than the emergency services vehicles and couldn't imagine they would have towed anything while the body was still uncovered on the pavement. The motorcycle was hundreds of feet down the road and in surprisingly good shape. He must have been moving very quickly when it happened. Like I said, I could not stop thinking about it all day. I do not have a very image-centric mind, but I could not get it out of my head. I kept refreshing Google because I needed to know if it was multiple people or just one, and I got essentially no work done because I could not focus or sit still. I just got home and just shut down for a few hours. The long and short is that he was 22 years old, simply lost control at 4:30 in the morning, not even any other vehicles involved from what I can tell. If I had to guess, he was gunning it down a relatively quiet section of the highway that the cops don't patrol often because it has no shoulders. May well have been going more than 100 miles per hour when he hit the pavement. I've seen people with sport bikes gunning it in this area many times before. Pronounced dead at the scene obviously, and left on the ground for more than an hour by the time I got there. I cannot imagine what his loved ones are going through. I keep returning to them. I get that riding is inherently risk and getting on a bike is a choice, but it just seems so incredibly selfish knowing he has probably left behind family and friends. Do they have to see? Do they just get told it won't be an open casket and not to ask to look? As much as part of me wishes I hadn't seen everything, I also think that it should almost be required reading for people getting motorcycle licenses, maybe driver's licenses in general. The human body is so fragile when considering the forces involved in a crash. At 22 our brains aren't even full-formed, and I am not sure anyone can really process the risks involved without seeing it. It won't happen to me. Ism is strong. If you ride, seriously reconsider, it might happen to you. I know many people end up on bikes and scooters because 2 wheels are cheaper than 4, but I don't think that really applies to guys doing blasting by at 150 on the highway. You could be the best, most alert driver in the world, all it takes is one asshole swerving into your lane, one pothole, one anything, and you are done. Story 3. My 27M wife 23F is leaving me. We've been together for 4 years, since our freshman year of college. We got married Jan of 2022. I sometimes know I hold my wife back from enjoying some things, and I've always wanted to be better, but I thought it was something we would figure out together or at least talk about before something like this. Things like dancing, social events, partying, career opportunities, etc. There are 2 main issues she brought up. I'm an introvert and have social anxiety, and I've been experiencing depressive symptoms for 2 or 3 years now, which makes it worse. I haven't had much interest or joy in life in certain things. Despite this, I thought we were still in love and would always make it work. We still had our fun. I was diagnosed with depression 2 years ago and have been on an antidepressant, but they only helped a little. I've recently started a new one and I feel like it's working. I thought this summer we could finally do all the things we should have been doing, and that I can finally be the partner I wanted to be. An hour ago, that came crashing down. One of our issues is that I wasn't totally upfront with my depression and medication. It isn't super easy to talk about and I thought I could figure it out and be the person I used to be and to be the husband I want to be. I wasn't totally cut off about it. She knew I see a psychiatrist, she knew I took them and she knew I was depressed. I wasn't secretive or anything, just not open and vulnerable about it. With that, she recently came to the realization that she is a different person when with me. She isn't an anxious introvert. She just doesn't experience the things she wants to experience. She doesn't have the freedom she needs. She says we are incompatible for these reasons. Our other issue is the point in our lives we are in. She was in ROTC and is now in the reserves. She is an amazing person and an amazing leader. She has gotten opportunities that she has passed up. She enjoys the army for its camaraderie, opportunities, and predictability. She wasn't sure if she wanted active duty or not, but during her 4 months course she realized how much she loved it and wanted to do more of it. I've told her I would support her going anywhere and doing anything for however long. I am in law school. We moved to Ithaca, the middle of nowhere with few opportunities for her. She wants to live in Philly. Every day of law school has been fueled by my drive to provide that for her. I daydream about living in Philly with her, where she'll have the room and opportunities she deserves. When we were deciding to get married and the whole law school situation, she said she'd follow me anywhere. I thought we could stick out these next 2 years and that it would pay off. While we had our underlying problems of how we spend our free time, my level of motivation for activities, and her stress over not having a job in Ithaca and the general stagnation, we seemed to be completely in love. She has been away for 4 months for her officer training. I visited her just 7 weeks ago and she couldn't wait to come home. We seemed good, our usual selves. But, she couldn't wait to come home because she wasn't having a good time and missed me. Her main friend group stopped hanging out and she was lonely. Then, after I visited her, she got close to a couple others and started having a good time again. She found her old self. The social extrovert who loves to go out and dance and just have fun. She realized she doesn't get to be that way with me. She says we aren't compatible and don't like the same things. I don't know how to take that because I know we've had fun over the years and we do like a lot of the same things. I just haven't enjoyed much of it recently. About a month ago she started to seem more and more distant. It felt like over the last month we drifted apart so quickly. Then when she came home 2 days ago, it was the same. She wasn't excited and she wasn't very happy. I saw it in her eyes, but I thought she was just sad about not having a job and missing her friends. We still cuddled and said we love each other. Then when I got home today excited to tell her about a potential job lead I got from a professor for her, she wasn't as happy as I'd expected. I jokingly said it seems like you want to divorce me and she didn't know what to say. She said she wasn't going to talk to me about it yet, but we ended up having the talk anyway. And just like that, it's over. With no option to try to resolve our issues. I want so bad to have fun with her this summer and to be the partner I wanted to be and that she deserves. I'm at complete odds with myself. I love her more than anything in the world. I've spent every single day dreaming about our future after law school. I wanted to give her the opportunities she wants, the life and luxuries she wants. I wanted to have fun going out, playing games, and doing the hobbies we used to do together. The way everything came crumbling down in finality is destroying me. I can't wrap my head around it. I'm in shock. We went so quickly from being in love and married to ending it. We both graduated together, the same major, both summa cum laude. She was the commencement speaker, we were heading to Ithaca for Cornell Law. I thought we had the world. I thought we could do anything together after this. When I say my wife to others I do it so proudly. I couldn't wait to see what she decides to do in Philly and onward. I could hardly wait for her to come home after these 4 months. I was excited to have my new medication and to make her smile and to have the fun we used to have. I thought I was so lucky to have met her and for her to be my wife. She said she's already made up her mind and I just can't bring myself to accept that. It's surreal to me. I'm in shock. I'm lost. I can't imagine being single. I can't imagine her dating someone else, marrying them, having kids. I feel so fucked right now. We finished talking 30 minutes ago. She left the room and I'm just laying in bed. When she said we weren't meant to be together and that she'd sleep in the other room for now, and that she plans on going to Philly, I just shut down. I just texted her that I wish it was different, but I'm glad she's moving on to something more fulfilling and I'm excited to see what she does. It wasn't easy and I'm still in shock over this. I'm getting divorced at 27 from the person I thought was the love of my life. That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.